What's going on, guys? We're headed out to CPR Engines today. Just check the shop out, see what they got going on today. Nothing big, but keep you guys updated to what's going on today. Turn this back on once we get out there. Made it here to CPR with Nate. Checking out what he's got going on.
What's up, man? So this is kind of the shop space in the works. You know, there's been a lot of effort to sort of reorganize the entire operation, primarily the machine shop, because that's sort of the foundation for all the other areas of expansion, like the e-commerce business, the resurrection of the Coast High Performance website, and then the parts production. You know, we're working on supercharger design as well as billet valve covers for small block Ford applications. And then doing stuff like this, kind of like, you know, custom in-house projects. This is actually going in my 1985 Ford Mustang. So it's a LS-based engine, Dart LS Next Pro, 406 cubic inch, and twin 76 millimeter Garrett GT4294R turbos that were modified by forced inductions. Those are old school Frankenstein M311 heads, LS3 port. They're pretty good for a budget head. And then it's Molnar Technologies crank, their Power Outer Plus rods, and then custom CP Carrillo pistons, ceramic coated with heavy wall pins and steel rings. Billet cam motion, custom turbo cam, Johnson axle oil lifters, pack springs, everything in the engine and transmission, cryogenic metal treatment by Cryo Heat in San Diego. So hopefully it'll hold together, you know. It's kind of like a cool deal with them. You know, they do a lot of stuff to improve the strength of metals. And so a block like this is probably the strongest LS block on the market already. And so it technically didn't need that. I mean, it's got 1/2-inch head studs, you know, 7/16" main studs with billet main caps. And everything in this engine, you can use micro polished and cryo treated. Billet Rollmaster timing set, Torrington bearing, and then 2-inch primary tubes, 3-inch collectors, tile housings, so everything nice V-bands, no flanges. We'll water cool the turbos. We're gonna have this, we got the LSA CTSV oil pan on here. I'm gonna integrate the oil cooler right here on the side of the pan. It's got an improved racing baffle kit and a ported M365 Melling oil pump. I'll probably have to use some restricted push rods from Manton. Because of the high volume pump, we don't want to deposit too much oil on the top of the engine. These blocks already have a very efficient priority main oiling system, and so it really doesn't need the extra oil pump. And since I already had it, and it's something that I sell, and I had the pump cryogenically treated and a slight micro polish on the gears, I figured while it's sitting around, I might as well throw it in there. We got the fast LSX HR intake, which is the fast composite answer to the high ram. You can see it's got these cool bell mounts in the intake plenum.
Oh shit.
This is actually going to go on backwards. We'll run it this way on the dyno, but in the car it goes backwards because the air-to-water intercooler system is actually in the back seat of the vehicle. And it has its own ice maker. So I created an ice box that uses AC refrigerant to power it. And the cool thing about this whole setup is it fits filters. This tucks nicely in the stock setup. So like this fits the Fox body perfectly custom tailored.
Literally daily driver shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, mean, because what the idea here is that I needed to have spark plug access. I wanted to be able to take it apart real quick.
Yeah.
I can install the entire hot side in the car in probably 20 minutes or less. Just the way it's designed and the way it fits. So it's a totally unique combination. You know, I live in, you know, this is California, and so you'll never see this on any Fox body. You'll never even see a turbo one of these this big with an actual exhaust that doesn't exit the hood or the fender. So
you'll have normal AC?
You know, I won't have normal because what I'm doing for the AC, since I'm using it, I'm using the air conditioning essentially to operate the water system. But what I'll do in place of a normal evaporator, since the evaporator core is embedded in a water tank, I'm going to use this here, and so I'm going to pump cold water through this, kind of like a heater core.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a blower fan, kind of like the one that you might find in an air conditioning, all TIG welded in an aluminum shroud. And then on the other end, I'll have some like tubing ducts, so I can run tubing to like cool the passengers. And so when the system's active, I'm going to test it. If it doesn't work that good, I'm sure it'll work. But if it doesn't work that well, I'll just put an additional evaporator core and some valving so that I can run it. Right here's the condenser for the system, and so this goes under the back of the Fox body, as well as the trans cooler for the computer. You know, it's a complete Pro EFI setup. It's going to integrate paddle shifters. It's got integrated boost control, trans controls, traction control. In fact, like for this here, you got like the boost control knob that'll just be in my
on there.
Yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I could look over there. Oh, an underground Lamborghini twin turbo. That'll probably be number 2.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that'll be number 2. Yeah, so you know, so this has everything. And what's badass about this setup is just how much capability it has. Like this is top of the line stuff, and it's every pin on the computer's been used. And so what they did for me is they pinned out every single auxiliary terminal so that I have everything I could ever want. I can integrate traction control. I can put in G-force sensors that help with the traction control in instances where, you know, you're doing a wheelie. I can have suspension, you know, level sensors so that it can tell when the front end comes up, so that it can disengage the traction control system. You know, basically it uses the output speed sensor of the transmission in conjunction with an ABS sensor that I put on the front. My car has like the SN95 brakes, and so it has a reluctor wheel with an ABS sensor that the Pro EFI, we're going to tune it, and it's going to know the differential between the wheel speeds, and so it can control a burnout. Like it's programmable to allow whatever amount of wheel spin you want. And so the traction control with Pro EFI is said to be the best in the industry. And what that'll allow is that, you know, I can just go pedal to the metal and the car won't spin the tires. It'll just
do its own thing.
It'll just apply the maximum power to keep it at a very specific amount of traction. And so if I tell it, you know, out of the hole, allow 20 miles an hour of wheel spin, it'll do that. And then it can have a graph where it decreases. And so it's always in the meat of the power, not ever losing full control.
So you're just not blowing the tires off.
You'll never, yeah, you can't blow the tires off. They tell me I can go through water. And so if I'm if I go and I floor it through water, it'll correct the power. Because I mean, it controls the ignition timing. You know, it controls the turbo output. You know, and these are going to be extremely efficient because, I mean, if you look at the size of the tubing, there's no inherent restriction. You know, if you compare the footprint of this to a normal T4 turbo, you'll see quite robust. You know, have complete 4-inch exhaust on the car, that's going to be sick. Machine shop.
I just had to come down and check it all out. I've been seeing it all on Instagram, so
yeah,
checking all this cool shit out.
A little entertainment center. And we got a lot of cool toys here, you know. Like I got it's a Pro Mod. That's a 10. That's going to be a 10.5 tire car. This Fox body.
I don't even think videos is gonna do justice on this tire. Like fuck.
You got like plasma cutters. I got the Dynasty 350 TIG machine. really cool because it just makes the capabilities of the shop like unlimited. Here's our YouTube guy, Frankers. He's a world famous drifter. He could actually make a non-turbo 3000G, or what is it?
300ZX.
300ZX burn to a burnout. I don't know how he does
Takes
it.
talent for that one.
I think he might have like a button he pushes and it like sprays water on the rear tires, something to get it to give him article ideas. And that's why this is all done up, because the history of CPR is it started as custom performance racing. And so this was like a place where street racers came to work on their shit and drink beer. And they would race right out here, 135th in Maine, and right here on Gardena in Maine. And this was the spot. You know, you got shirtless Chad, who's still in the complex, and Martin. We got a little picture of Martin up here. That's why we got the helicopter, we got the Popo Hayden, we got Maine and Gardena, we got the Fox body right there. And then a little homage to Martin's best friend that passed away. Darren is the owner of the property, and that's how they all got started right here. And so he used to race the cars for Martin. So that's Martin's Mustang and the Z car. So that's B-Rad. And so we got the, also got the Beetlejuice fireplace. And so, yeah, man, making it happen. First engine on the dyno. This goes to Alfonso Sereno's original Callaway truck. This is a mini stroker aluminum 5.3 engine. It's got a custom Scat 3.825 stroke crank, 6.2 inch Molnar technology rods, custom CP Carrillo pistons, CNC ported 799 heads. The heads also feature Manley severe duty intake valves, extreme duty Inconel exhaust valves. It's got a massive comp cam, blower cam, good oil pump, billet timing set, and then an 8-rib conversion and 102 millimeter inlet. So we're going to take this Magnuson and find out what it can do. We expect excessive intake air temperatures. It's not really a well-designed supercharger for what we're using it for, but we wanted to build a bottom end so that when he's ready to make real power, he can step up and get his 1,000 at the tire. But it'll be a nice little 600 wheel horsepower, and I'm pretty sure he's going to, I told him don't drink any horchata before he comes here, because, man, you're going to have some problems.
Big ass Maggie on here. Man, oh man. That's CPR stuff.
Yeah, that's the Probot engine right there. I don't even know what that makes. 3,000-4,000, not really sure. I know it made 1,100 on our dyno with no blower on it, just naturally aspirated with that throttle body. And this here is representative of some of our crate engine combinations that we ship out. Like this here is one of our 363s. These little motors will run on pump gas. It's got ProFlow EFI, which is a really convenient, easy to use system. It makes a lot of power. So this will be nice. Like this might make 550 horsepower on 91 octane, something like that.
That's real convenient.
Yeah, and you just drop it in your classic. You get the classic sound. You got all the badass technology. You got really good airflow research heads, the latest and greatest hydraulic roller setup. So you get nice, quiet valve train operation, maintenance free, in a package that delivers that classic sound with everything benefiting from years of research by our partners in airflow research. So we do some product testing. We got a bunch of their cylinder heads here we can stick in. That's for a Tahoe.
For a Tahoe?
Yeah, that's a 6.0 Magnuson Supercharger 2300, getting the same overdrive treatment. This one has a forged LSA crank, forged Molnar technology power adder rods, and some CP Carrillo pistons with Frankenstein M311 cylinder head. So that thing's going to be a monster. Hell of a Tahoe.
And a Tahoe, yeah, that's the crazy part.
This is Bad Daddy Braddy. He's kind of a YouTube celebrity / major fucking asshole. Real difficult for me to deal with, but you know, hell, he's going to have a fast running T-bucket. That's what I can tell you about that. So we did all the nice machine work to it, upgraded the crankshaft. It's got a Scat crankshaft. They're HPS 1500 horsepower capable rods. It's running a couple GT45 eBay turbos. A lot of ugliness, but it's going to make some steam. This thing is going to make some real real power because we also put a big ass cam in there now. He used to have an LS9 cam. Now he's got some Brian Tooley Racing dual springs on the CNC ported 317s. I don't think he's ready, honestly. He wants to race my Mustang. He's got to head the fuck up.